So where I left, it was this center, all the centers in Institution of Engineers, the local center as well as state centers, they celebrate this Energy Conservation Day as a part of national observance of Energy Conservation Week observed at various states of the India, starting from December 14th. This is the mark of start of Energy Conservation Week. The Energy Conservation Act in India was executed by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, BEEE, in the year 2001. The Bureau of Energy Efficiency is a constitutional body which comes under Government of India and helps in the development of policies and strategies in order to reduce the energy use. National Energy Conservation Day in India is celebrated to create an awareness among the people about the importance of energy as well as saving or observing the more energy by using less energy. The exact means of energy conservation is using less energy by avoiding the unnecessary uses of energy. Using energy efficiency is very necessary to save it for the future because we have to leave something for our followers, our people, our siblings, and other our children. Energy conservation should be rooted in the behavior of each human being to get more effect towards the plan of energy conservation. So major objectives of Energy Conservation Day is to celebrate, to send the message of importance of conserving energy in the every walk of life among people, promoting the way of process of energy conservation by organizing a lot of events such as discussions, conferences, debates, workshops, competitions, and etc. all through the country. This is to promote people for less energy usage by neglecting the excessive and wasteful uses, and finally encourage people for efficient energy use in order to decrease the energy consumption and prevent the energy loss. So today we have amidst us Mr. Engineer Samson Nalathambi, who is a key man in the area of energy and energy conservation. He has got so much of experience. Let me formally introduce him to this from PPT. Samson Nalathambi, now he is the additional Deputy General Manager, Electrical, and working in NLC India Limited. He is also assuming the charges of Airport Director for the Naval Airport, and he is a certified energy manager. His skills expands from power transformer testing procedures as per BAS 2026 and 1180, and he is a regular faculty for NLC Training Division from 1990. Now it is called, previously it was called Training Complex. Now it is LNDC, as well as PSTC also is a Power Station Training Center. He has conducted more than 70 programs on the major topics, particularly in electrical, regarding gas insulated substations, power transformer testing and maintenance, automation of substation, power cable qualification, switchgear and protection, electrical and electronic control system, testing of relays. He is also a regular faculty member for the National Power Training Institute, which is one of the prestigious institutes for the institution for all the power engineers. It is situated in Neyveli. And he has been selected by NLCL, and he has represented for the IMA 4th National Competition for Managers on Managing Change Achieving Excellence on behalf of NLCIL at Mumbai on 18th February 2020. He has presented paper on energy conservation of NLCIL at annual convention on energy conservation and at Andhra Pradesh Productivity Council. He has also conducted a one-day workshop on energy management and conservation in modern buildings at Anna University, Tirchi on behalf of NLCIL Limited on 2012-2010. He has participated in the best practices in energy efficiency in thermal power sector KEP, Dawnu, Maharashtra in 2015. Has been deputed for more than 45 electrical equipment inspections and to witness a type test at the CPRI also for clients meeting at CPRI Bangalore and at IIT and for various LED bar, solar bar, energy related exhibitions. His experience spans from operation and maintenance in charge of 33 kV bar 11 kV main substation and connected 11 kV feeders at the township administration department, which is looking after the total electrical maintenance and operation of our township, Neyveli township. He has proposed so many modifications and implemented it as per the specification, and he has purchased so many HT equipments after making the specifications. He is the energy manager of Township Administration Department from 2005 to till date, certified energy manager, and he has involved in procuring various energy saving equipments. He has studied and introduced by arranging demonstration by manufacturers. Also, he is interested. And he has particularly introduced one automatic power factor controller panel to improve the power factor and to reduce line losses for the first time in NLC India Limited. Previously, we were not, because we are the power producers, we were not implemented any capacitors. He has implemented it for the first time in NLC's history for all the submersible pumps operated by our township. And he is also quality control coordinator for TA team from 2005 to till date. And his additional charge is the safety officer for TA. And he has been deputed to Barsingsar Thermal Power Plant for 3 years tenure from 2013 to 2016. And he has looked after switchgear lighting division in charge. And he is also a member in the energy cell. He has developed 1 kilowatt solar system where for the particularly Indira Gandhi Canal pumping stations. Now he is present additional charge is the airport director. Personally, he has visited so many places, historic places like Istanbul, Cairo, Paris, London, and most of the Gulf cities. He has undergone main training. He has undergone so many trainings. And these are the highlights of his training places. High voltage testing of power system equipments, PSTI at Bangalore, and fault level analysis and electrical faults and arc flash hazards, airport training by ABB. And with this background, may I introduce Engineer B. Samson Naladambi to the audience. And he is an expert in this energy conservation. And I welcome Engineer B. Samson Naladambi for presentation of today's topic. Over to Samson Naladambi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sagar. You elaborately given some introduction. Thank you very much for it. So, to start with, I would like to point out few of the things what Mr. Sagar has said. He has said at one point, energy efficiency. Energy efficiency is the mantra of the day. Good evening to all. I welcome all the participants for this day. I also thank Sagar for giving me the opportunity to express my views on this topic like energy conservation and demand side management. This is the biggest theme of the day, demand side management. Okay. I also thank our general manager, TA, for giving me all the encouragement to come and make this presentation. Okay. So, the topic for today is, as Mr. Sagar said, we are observing Energy Conservation Week. Energy Conservation Week. So, this is what it is. The topic for the day is energy management and demand side. and energy management and conservation. Also, I'm going to say more about how to manage the demand. How to manage the demand. Also, apart from energy conservation and energy management. So, what is energy? What is energy? Can somebody unmute and say a few things about what is energy? If somebody says something, it will be encouraging for me to speak more on that. What is energy? In everything you see, say for example, you see a tree, it gives a firewood and it produces our fruits and other eatables. This is a form of energy. And we have air. We produce energy from air through windmills. And there is a flowing water. This kinetic energy of the water is used to produce electric power apart from all other things. Okay. So anything and everything you see can be converted in one form of energy. So conserving energy means not only electric power, it is also conserving our forests, our trees, our ecosystem, our water, our land. So whatever is given by the earth, whatever is gifted by the God is to be preserved. That is what is to be conserved. What we wanted to conserve, what is available in the nature. What is energy management? How effectively we use this? For example, we use our water to produce electricity. How we manage these waters? What kind of storage system we have? How we manage the electricity produced? How efficiently we use it? These are all called energy management. Anything and everything. For example, how efficiently we use our natural resources like fossil fuel. Is how we manage all these things is energy management. So how to manage, how to conserve. So everybody knows, we all know, we all manage. We manage our home. We manage our daily activities. We manage our office. This is all energy management is part of it. We save some money, we switch off light, we walk to the nearest place instead of using a gas guzzling vehicles. This is all kind of management. This is all a kind of conservation. How we conserve. If we plant some trees, it is a kind of conservation. You create a wealth. Apart from, you create a system where your carbon dioxide can be absorbed through the trees. Why energy has to be conserved? There are so many things. Because energy cannot sustain for a long time. Say, for example, our fossil fuels are going to deplete. Our country, India, countries like India, where there are more than 120 crore people are there, we depend so much on imported fossil fuel, oil. So that is why we have to conserve. Why energy has to be conserved? We have to conserve the energy, as Mr. Shagar said, for our future generations. If we use all those things, our future generation may be deprived of energy. This is one of the reasons we conserve. There are more other reasons. There are more important reasons which we are going to listen. We are going to see. If you tune into the television every day, today you tune to any news, it says, what is our country doing for Paris Accord? What is Paris Accord? Paris Accord says you manage your energy. All the Western countries are looking after India and China, how we are using our energy, how we are managing our energy. Apart from using the energy, we are mostly polluting the earth. That is the number one point why we need to manage the energy. So need for energy management, global environmental concern. This is what we are doing. We are managing energy only to protect the globe from pollution. We are trying to protect our environment. What is our environment? Land, water, air. You see Delhi, what has happened to Delhi? They have polluted the Delhi air beyond repair. So that it cannot be. To repair the pollution, to repair the air quality in Delhi, we have to spend enormous money. So, what is energy? As I told, energy lights our cities, powers our vehicles, and runs machinery in factories. It warms and cools our homes, cooks our food, plays our music, and gives us pictures on our TV. Energy is defined as the ability or the capacity to do the work. I hope I make you understand what is energy. There are energies broadly categorized in various forms. Like energy can be broadly divided into two categories: renewable energy, non-renewable energy. I hope now in the present scenario, every citizen knows what is renewable energy, what is non-renewable energy. So renewable energy is what can be renewed, like energy produced through air. Air is abundant. You cannot deplete air. Energy produced through solar. Solar radiations are there. It is abundant. So it is all called renewable energy. And what is non-renewable energy? You are producing energy through fossil fuel, like we run our scooters using petrol and diesel. We run our vehicles using fossil fuel. We produce electricity using fossil fuel like coal, lignite, oil. All those things are perishable. One day it is going to deplete. These fossil fuels are generated over millions of years. Because of the burgeoning population, it is used in a very exponential way. So we are going to run out of it. It is not only this is the problem of energy conservation. This is the motive of not only the motive of the energy conservation. The energy conservation is basically to reduce pollution, to keep our environment very clean so that we live a healthy life. This is the basic reason why we are talking about energy conservation, why the international body, the United Nations, putting so much pressure on countries like India and China. So the renewable energy is further again called as clean energy, green energy, energy from waste. Again, there are experts who don't agree with what is the term called clean energy, green energy. There are experts, scientists who say there's nothing like clean energy and green energy. That is why we have to conserve energy. Okay? Why I am going to talk, if time permits, why experts don't agree to clean energy and green energy. We think what we produce from windmill, from solar is a clean and green energy. It is certainly is not. It is proved time and again, it is not a clean energy. That is why we have to conserve. So why to conserve? We have limited resources available on earth. Our demands are continuously increasing. Our demands are continuously increasing because of the enormous population growth, because of the luxury in which we wanted to live. It is possible that someday most of the non-renewable resources will be exhausted and we will have to switch over to alternative energy. So there are people working heavily on creating alternative energy. We will see what it is. Why conserve energy? There is a big thing. This you can get it from anywhere. This is all available in our media and in our internet. Why conserve energy? Because energy is going to deplete. By using energy, we are polluting the earth. By polluting the earth, our environment gets degraded and our health gets degraded. Our future generation will going to live in a very contaminated surroundings. That is why we need to conserve energy. This is the core theme of this Energy Conservation Week. We are trying to teach our generation, our future people, what the importance of energy conservation. Then what is energy management? So energy management doesn't always involve in complicated analysis or big capital investment. We are going to discuss these things. You can start by consolidating and analyzing your energy spending profile over time. This is what is energy management and this is what is energy audit. This is done in big industries, factories, organizations like Neyveli. We are doing energy management, we are doing energy audit, and we are implementing all those things. Energy management, demand side management. What is this? This is the biggest jargon used by countries like India and China to curtail the enormous growth of our demand, energy demand. Energy in the form of electricity, in the form of fossil fuel, in the same of factories and other things. Demand side management is to reduce customer demand by changing equipment efficiency. This is what Mr. Sagar said. We have to increase efficiency. Simply, you see, we were using gasoline cars. Now, Indians are very cautious about buying efficiency. So, your car, instead of running 10 kilometers per liter, if it runs 20 kilometers, you conserve, you manage efficiency. Okay? You increase the efficiency. This is what is demand side management. And a demand pattern. You see, in the evening, you see our Neyveli load from the evening 6 to 9, energy load increases tremendously because we are switching on all the street lights, all the houses need power supply. So what do we do? How we manage this? How can it be switched over to some other time? What can be switched over to some other time? This is what. See how demand is managed. Simple slide is shown here. Doesn't always involve in complicated big capital investment. We were using incandescent bulbs. This bulb, if we see, it is a 60-watt bulb. It was having a very low efficiency. You see the lumens per watt, it is very low. So this was incandescent lamp invented nearly 100 years back were slowly replaced by CFL. There are countries where incandescent light manufacturing is banned. Even in Andhra, incandescent lamp manufacturing and usage is banned long back. So you see the CFL, it uses less energy and gives more output. For the same wattage, it is giving more. So we have managed. So to what extent we have reduced the demand, you see? What extent we have reduced, pardon me. So when the technology has evolved, we were replacing the CFL into what? LEDs. These LEDs are having very long life. If it is an incandescent lamp, it uses to fuse very often. It is giving enormous power, taking enormous power and giving very less lumens. Whereas the LEDs, they last longer. There are companies which gives warranty for more than 10 years. So you don't need to manufacture. Manufacturing industries can curtail production. Also, it gives enormous efficiency. You see the slide, the efficiency level, the wattage level has drastically reduced. The efficiency level has drastically improved. This is what is called management, energy management. See, the demand reduced by 1/6 and the lifetime increased by more time. This is again one more example of how the demand can be managed, how the efficiency is increased. Why we manage the demand? Over the years, the focus has been primarily on implementing supply side measures. Say, we want more power, we are building more power plants. These power plants take enormous money, and the gestation period is nearly 5 to 10 years. Okay. So what we do, instead of building more and more power plants, we are trying to manage the demand. We switch the demand pattern, we increase the efficiency. We are trying to shift the load or the source to the demand side. How we have switched the low production supply to the demand side, we are going to see. As such, capacity addition, reduction of transmission and distribution losses, this is where thought of. We were doing capacity addition by increasing our thermal production. We were trying to reduce transmission losses. Transmission losses were enormous. And we were trying to do all kind of efficiency in the transmission and production. Okay. Excuse me. This has changed over the, this thinking has changed over the years. So how to manage this supply side? Supply side manages, though important, requires less investment spread over long period of time. It is therefore important to adopt a focus on the demand side management. How? You see in this picture, there were solar power plants, there are wind power plants, windmills, all those things. So, this solar plant and windmill can be shifted to the load side. You can have your own. See this lady sitting in a small village manufacturing LED lamp and what do you call it, UPS, all these things are trying to shift the demand to the supply side. We are managing the supply side. If more and more people in the village, if they started using solar energy, you don't have to extend a lot of transmission line from the generating station to the remote villages, because villages are going to manage their own demand. This is what is demand side management. See this, people have started investing on rooftop solars. So they are going to produce their own supply and they are going to store their own power, and they are going to not only manage during daytime, they are going to manage during night time also. This will reduce the pressure on the supply side, pressure on the people who are producing more and more electricity or whatever it is. See, there are so many concepts have come. Village lighting. There are companies who are specializing in village lighting. Okay. Sir, ஒரு ஹெல்ப் எனக்கு இந்த ரெண்டுத்தையும் அங்க இருந்து எடுத்து கொடுக்கணுமே. Some these two things. Then we move from the screen. Encourage customers to alter their consumption pattern. You can encourage customers to alter. What? Some people say schools are functioning during daytime. You can ask them to shift it to, late evening. You can ask them to shift it to in a, what do you call it, one area, if they, one school, if they start in the morning, you can ask the other schools to start in the afternoon. So that whichever people, factories who are working in the evening, you can ask them to shift their load pattern to morning working hours. It is like that. Load management, it is fast to implement. So also governments and NGOs and private companies and what do you call it, conglomerates, They are developing and promoting energy also so many, for which there is a platform called knowledge sharing platform. People who develop any efficiency as or can be shared through the knowledge sharing platform. If governments are funding these projects, and it has to be freely shared to other agencies where technology, like how these companies, how these governments, how these United Nations have come up with COVID-19 vaccine because of these kind of platforms. What people are doing at one part of the world is shared with the rest of the world so that they don't harp on the same thing. They come up with some other solution. That is how demand side management and energy efficiencies are shared. This is another big, what do you call it, poster regarding energy efficiency, energy management, and renewable energy. This is all some kind of posters we were promoting over the years to make people to adopt conservation. To set up a power plant, it takes 5 years. To set up a transmission line, it takes 1 year. Plan energy conservation, it takes 1 month. We organize like this programs. To promote energy conservation, it takes 1 hour. But for you to adopt energy saving, you simply switch off unwanted usage. That is what the program says. These are all some of the things given by the government of India, given by the companies like NLC India Limited, to adapt to various methods for which in our day-to-day life, we manage, conserve energy. Say, keep your air conditioner at 26 degrees. Various things are given here. These are all the things which are being promoted by us, by government of India also. Now, again I will repeat, why to conserve, manage energy, global climate change and environmental degradation. You switch on to our TV now, the government of India is speaking loudly to abide by the Paris Accord. The Paris Accord has taken a new shape and all the world leaders are sitting and trying to implement the Paris Accord. That is what the Paris Accord says, to find a solution for temperature increase, for global warming. Global climate change causes global warming. What we have to do for global warming and what we are doing by using enormous energy, by producing energy, what we are doing. We are trying to save, we are polluting our land, air and water. We can visibly see all these things in big cities. The biggest and the number one example is the Delhi city. How people are suffering for pollution of land and water. These are all the vital resources. We are trying to protect these resources. This is what the core idea of energy conservation is. Industrialization, industrial waste, landfill, plastic, toxic waste, all these things are produced by our consumerization, our usages, our not adhering to energy conservation or energy management. Air pollution is caused by solid and liquid particles and certain gases that are suspended in the air. Thermal emission, exhaust due to fossil fuel. Thermal emission, exhaust due to fossil fuel. They are the main reason for the air pollution. Okay. So, how to reduce thermal emission? By producing less. Can we sustain by producing less? So, we have to conserve. We have to go for alternative. That is what I initially said. Go for clean and green energies. Again, there is one more debate. Is it really clean and green energy? If time permits, we will see all those things. This is what we are trying to rectify. This is what we are trying to rectify. This is what is the writing on the wall. See what we are doing. This is all the slow killers. We are talking about our cardiac arrest and our, what do you call it, India is having a lot of diabetic patients. But air pollution is killing our coming generation, our children. This is what we are worried about. See what is our power plants are doing. Our power plants are producing enormous CO2. CO2 causes pollution. So this is one of the things. These many years. Are we really adapting to it? You see, for energy conservation, this is a card I have produced in what is the year? I forgot. I think 2010. At this time, you will never believe to write this word global warming is harming our planet. Approval was not given. Our chief asked me, what is energy conservation has to do with global warming? He asked me. So I have to spend a lot of time to convince him we are conserving energy only to stop global warming. That is one of our primary aim. Only after that we could be able to release that. Now that things have seen tremendously. You see, global warming is harming board is there everywhere in township. It is there every even recently some kids are getting United Nations award by promoting global warming. What is global warming? This is what is that. If time permits, I will speak more on it. What is global warming? Why we have to control warming? What will happen if global temperature increases? When time permits, we'll see more on this. What happens if global temperatures rise? Because we are again, why global temperature rise? We are using enormous amount of power to produce power air by releasing carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide gives greenhouse gases. There is greenhouse gases trap more and more heat. How it traps, we will see. This heat slowly increases the temperature rise, global temperature, average temperature rise. If we see, these are all highly proven things. People don't see. There is a big story. When time permits, there are a lot of stories I would like to share with this. When somebody said the world is round, not flat, it is a globe, people really laughed at him. People thought he's a fool. That is what. Even the global big leaders don't agree to global temperature rise or global warming. But United Nations has really proved with proper record, anything and everything, only if it is proved with proper record, United Nations agrees to it. That is how United Nations work. Scientists and the international bodies and governments have clearly proved that the global temperature has risen over the years. Okay. So we'll come to that later. What will happen if global temperature rises? It will melt the glaciers. What will happen if glaciers melt? Sea level will rise. And there are enormous other reasons. What will happen if global glaciers melt? Glaciers are the climate controlling agency, climate controlling media. If we spoil our glaciers, we are never going to replace or replenish or getting it back to the normal. It is just impossible. Habitat loss, migration, mitigation of species, extinction of species, thriving of other species, disease, famine, weather changes. I would like to see the timer now. Okay. I think I'm slow. Global warming occurs when carbon dioxide and other pollutants and greenhouse gases collect in the atmosphere and absorb sunlight and solar radiation that have bounced off the Earth's surface. That should have been bounced off. This traps it. Normally, this radiation would escape into air but this pollution trap that. That is what temperature rises. Which are all the things which causes greenhouse gases? And what are all the things which causes more harm to the greenhouse gases? Production of electricity, that's 32% of the greenhouse gases. And our transport, using of vehicles, causes 28%. Our factories cost 20%. You see, they have given some cow symbol. What is it? This is a very big phenomena. Our agriculture causes enormous greenhouse gases and other things. Okay. So where we stand? So our governments are at present trying to control these first two things. The third one is very dangerous to control. They are trying to control the first two things. They are trying to produce energy in a very clean way. They are trying to have our vehicles in a clean vehicle. What is a clean vehicle? We'll come to see. So the particles and gases from the car and truck exhaust and factories cause more pollution. Okay. But this is what? Have you seen the Puducherry beach 30 years back? There was a big beach in Puducherry. I myself have seen it. Now, if we go and see, there is absolutely no beach. There is another movie, movie, Waterworld. This movie is released 35 years back, cautioning our people that global warming is to absorb all the small islands. This is what the theme of the movie is. The burning of fossil fuels to make electricity is the biggest source of heat trapping pollution, producing about 2 billion tons of CO2 every year. Coal burning power plants are the far biggest pollutants. So we are trying to concentrate on producing clean energy. Second largest source of carbon pollution is the burning of fossil fuel. Curbing dangerous climatic change requires very deep cuts in emissions, as well as the use of alternative fuel to fossil fuel worldwide is the solution. Okay. So everybody is trying to produce alternative fuels. The picture shown here is can anybody guess? It is called the induction light, one of the most efficient lights. We also have it near our mines office, and it has got almost 35 years of foolproof power. That is, it will never fail for 35 years. So this is one of the motives. As Mr. Segar also said in the initial speech, we are trying to pass the buck to the future generation. We have not only inherited the planet from our forefathers, we borrowed it from our children. This is the message we are trying to give it to the society. This is why IE is conducting all these programs. This is another form of advice how we are managing efficiently energy. Energy conservation management. Okay. Okay. Energy conservation and management is best defined as reduction of energy consumption measured in physical terms. So I have been given a deadline to close within few minutes. Okay, I will go fast. The ultimate aim is, as I told earlier, to reduce pollution. These are all the game changers. Solar energy, energy storage, electric vehicle. So we are trying to produce solar energy, as I said, which is abundant. And we are trying to store the energy to use 24 hours a day. And we are trying to switch. This is the first point, to reduce our demand on producing more and more energy using fossil fuel, coal, lignite. And another one is to reduce vehicle pollution. We are trying to switch over to EVs. And EVs are producing revolution in Western countries. EVs are the biggest storage of electricity. EVs are going to power our homes. The future of energy, solar and energy storage. Battery energy storage is transforming global electric grid, and it is an increasingly important element of world's transition to the sustainable energy. This is what is that. You see, this is the technology adopted in all the Western countries. It will be done in a very big scale in India. Vehicle to grid, V2G technology, and grid to vehicle. See, the power is given to the power is produced and it powers the home. It is converting it to and powers the electric vehicle, and it charges the electric vehicle. In the electric vehicle is not in use, the same electric vehicle power can be used for the domestic supply. This is what is Western countries are doing in a very big way. Charging station for electric car with solar panels and wind turbine. This is one form of shifting our demand pattern. We are, instead of increasing our production, we are shifting our demand to the demand side. We are shifting our production to the far end, to the demand side. Batteries on wheels. In the future, electric cars are going to power our homes. When everybody has an electric car, where will all the electricity come from? It will come from you. Electric vehicles to replace gas cutlers. Why we are going to go for electric vehicles? Electric vehicles are not only causing less pollution, it is very highly efficient compared to our gas guzzlers. Electric vehicles are having numerous patterns. There are electric vehicles which are going to be zero pollution, zero polluting electric vehicle. People are going to produce hydrogen from solar, and this hydrogen is going to power the cars. EVs are more efficient. See, this is going to be the reality. This is the actual electric car. See the car's performance. This is named as Roadster. It is the quickest car in the world with top speed of up to 250 miles per hour. It is the longest range of electric car on the market with 600 miles with one shot. This is another mega pack. There are a lot of companies challenging to produce 100 megawatt storage system in less than 60 days at the remotest place. This technology supplied by one particular company is called Powerwall. Holds 12.2 kilowatt hour of unusable capacity and maintains a 10% reserve. These batteries are infinitely scalable. This technology is available and this technology is being implemented at many places. And people are going to rely only on battery powered things in many parts of the deserts, especially in Australia. This company, Telsa, you all know, they are trying to build infinitely scalable batteries. Say, if we make one power plant, say we are producing 500 megawatt power plant, you cannot increase the capacity. The capacity is only going to diminish. Whereas batteries, they are able to add infinitely. And again, people are trying to shift the load pattern. Future houses will be highly efficient. They are going to produce some amount of power. That is why our governments are trying to encourage smart cities, clean cities, and they are give a lot of incentives to produce smart cities. What is this? Smart cities have got lot of your conditions like you have to produce your own so much clean energy, you have to have EV vehicles, They are putting so many conditions. Thereby, they also give you money. They also make you to adopt to. And one more point before I close, I wanted to stress. This is the jargon of the day. Reduce. Reduce what? Reduce anything and everything. Reduce your water consumption. Reduce your electricity consumption. Reduce your carbon footage. Reduce the usage of your automobiles. And reuse. Reuse what? Reuse anything and everything. And recycle. These are all these are all 3 points which are going to rule the world. Why reduce? Because we cannot produce clean energy. Clean energy comes with a big cost. This I will want to stop with this slide. This is the what people, we are trying to produce clean energy. How? By windmill, by solar, by all water bodies. This is not the right solution. A windmill is going to take enormous amount of cement, enormous amount of aluminium, enormous amount of copper. From where will we are going to get these things? Then we have to make more cement plants. We have to more mining to do aluminium. You have to do more mining to copper. This is again going to pollute the world. This is not the solution. Again, there are a lot of Western countries which are banning windmills. You know why? It obstructs the migratory bird path. This is what the thinking of the other people of the other part of the world. So we cannot produce clean energy. We cannot solve our problem just because of solar energy. Our only solution is reduce, recycle, reuse. Recycle what? Recycle whatever it is possible. So Westerners are trying to learn more from us regarding reuse, recycle. You take places like Dharavi, which is taking someone's waste and using as a raw material to produce their own goods. There are around 15,000 factories in Dharavi, which runs with the sole source of raw material as someone's discarded waste. This is the concept of future thing. There are one concept came, conserve energy, conserve whatever you want. Then there's another concept which said produce clean energy, renewable energy, sustainable energy, like sustainable farming. Then the new concepts are coming like reduce, reuse, recycle. I think with this, I'll try to conclude. There are more to it. I wanted to speak more on global warming. If anybody wanted to say something, I like to keep the forum open for a few minutes. As long as IE permits, I'll keep the forum open. Can anybody wanted to say something? I would like to share my views on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Samson. I request now participants to unmute their mic. Those who want to ask any questions, you can ask and we can have a discussion for 5 minutes. Mr. Samson is a very resourceful person and he is involved in the subject as you could have observed during his presentation. So make use of him. You can ask questions. Even if you miss, I'm thinking of putting him on a series of lectures like this after this particular topic.
Okay, sir. I'm Kumar. Good evening.
Yes.
Regarding this pollution, okay, the government is trying to ban the old vehicles, right?
Yes.
Okay. But how much greenhouse gases will be generated for making new cars? Totally. This is one question. Second one.
What about new cars?
See, old cars are to be banned, right? That is the policy government is going to try now.
Yes.
In Delhi, some old vehicles are not permitted.
Okay.
So for making new vehicles, definitely we have to produce greenhouse gases, right?
Yes.
It will pollute. When making a new car, additional resource, it is required. There may be a lot of pollution will be generated
Okay. Yes.
while making, this is one point. Another thing, government is very much concerned about the pollution.
Hmm.
Some of the cars are running only 8 or 8 or 6 kilometers per liter. Okay.
Yes.
Some cars are running 15, 20, 25, something like
Sure,
that.
sure.
Why the government is permitting these 5 kilometer per liter vehicles?
Okay, shall I start answering?
Okay, you can
There
start.
are. It is not easy. If you are a politician, you cannot take a decision. There are countries where there is less politics. They can see. If suddenly you say don't use the old car, what will people do? Do they have money? So there are governments which have got nearly 30, 40 years of roadmap. There are countries which have adopted the roadmap to ban the cars for 30 years. People have, I think Belgium has adopted more than 25 years back, and all the Europe has warned, and in most of the European countries, petrol and diesel are going to be banned forever within 3 to 4 years. This they have told long back. Petrol and diesel, usage of petrol and diesel will be banned in such and such an year, and they have a roadmap. They are giving incentive. Our government also is giving incentive. Lot of people are coming and asking us, government of India is even asking us, I'll give free charging station, I give free EV vehicle, I give subsidy, you adopt it. Agriculture, it has been done. Water was going in the canal, it's been replaced by pipes because the government has given a lot of. Again, if we suddenly say ban the cars, we have to make an alternative arrangement. Some governments have come with solid solution of eradicating this. Governments of India also is having some thing. That is why they banned usage of big diesel-powered cars. They are coming up with solution. It is not so easy in a country like India where there are more poor people, more middle-class people. They are coming with so many solutions. That is why the green city concept. That is why various things are coming up. That is why they are giving an incentive. That is why we are conducting the class. That is why governments are telling we are going to adopt e-vehicle. You see, this is over the years it is adopted. CNG, when government of Supreme Court banned the use of petrol and diesel buses, the government of Delhi had a very difficult time to switch over to CNG, which is less pollutant. It has to come slowly. It cannot come over suddenly. It is coming. People's minds are changing. New vehicles are going to be introduced. A lot of countries have come up with the cheap cars, electric cars. Technology, again, if you go for electric car, where is the charging station? That has to be solution for anything and everything. People are trying to find solution. Solutions are available. When India adopts, we are not going to adopt from step 1 to step 2. We are going to go from step 1 to step 11 because technology is already available. So that is how we have to do it. We need strong mind, strong people who really understand and adopt it. Unless otherwise this is come, it is not an easy solution. Governments are finding it very difficult to adopt this, where the population population is very thin. People are able to understand. People have the means. It is all adopted. It is been done. Singapore is the best example. Singapore has got so many tremendous technologies. They are going to completely switch over. Entire Europe, like Germany, France, they are going to completely eradicate in a few years' time petrol and diesel vehicles. Again, inefficient vehicles. Okay, thank you.
Sir, the question is not that. See, for making the car, how much it will pollute? Is it comparable to the vehicle generating?
See, in new vehicles,
not new vehicle generation itself. The pollution from the new vehicle is different. I am not contesting that. For making car itself, the industries are generating polluting.
Yeah, that is what I said. Reuse, reduce. For car
Again,
pollution has to
see,
be reduced. Again,
how to reuse this? I say the vehicle is totally condemned. It should be remelt. That's all.
yeah. See,
Then-
you cannot stop production of the car. You know how many cars are produced? More than 5 cars per minute are produced. More
Instead
than
of-
5 cars.
in-
If we
Instead of
stop-
that, instead of the same old car can be converted to CNG. Let the government permit. Why they want to discard it? The same
No.
same old cars.
They have so many solutions. Old car has to be discarded because they are highly inefficient. Converting it to again, if it is feasible, they are doing it. If it is feasible, they are
It is
doing it.
feasible, but only thing, see, the corporate, they are doing only business. Because of this business, they are doing all these things. They don't want to, if the old cars are dismantled, then only they want new cars will be buyers. So if they want a new cars buyer, they want to discard it. Because the people are lobbying for this. See, energy can, see, totally conservation of energy. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So one form of energy is converted. Okay. So where these greenhouse gases are generated, it is already there in the earth. We are converting it to from one. It may be in some raw material. When we are making it, say, another raw material, the gases are generated. Right?
It is not
See,
so. It is not so.
Yes, it is there. Then where the
See,
gases are not.
Okay,
gases
let
are
me
not generated.
come here. Let me come here. With this we'll stop. You see,
Thank you.
CFC. Do CFC existed 100 years back? Who has produced CFC? CFC is the biggest greenhouse gas. It has got more than, I think, 1,200 times more potent than CO2. Do CFC existed in the world? Did people use so much fire, so much coal in the past thing? Did our rivers are so much polluted 100 years back? Did we buy water for money 50 years back? That is something happening, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is. It is industrialization.
Yeah, that is what. Industrialization. That is what I again said. Industry pollutes. Industry pollutes. But if we touch industry, where will people, how we employ people? Okay. This is all a big debate. People are there. This is a big debate. So we are opening a platform for big debate. Okay. I think
Okay.
it is time.
Thank
One
you.
more question, if there is one, with that we will wind up. Okay, Mr. Sagar, I will hand over the section to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, participants, and thank you, Samson, for this wonderful and nice presentation. In fact, it was not only a PowerPoint presentation, it is a power-packed presentation rather. So, Mr. Samson has started with the basic question of what is energy and explaining it. And he has gone through the need of the energy management, and he has classified the energy, and he has elaborated on the reasons why we should conserve it, and what is energy management, what is demand side management. He has compared with a very simple example of incandescent lamp, CFL and LED, how the efficiency of even small lighting, basic lighting has increased. He has explained the load management with a pyramidal, what is that, this figure, and energy management with he has linked the energy management with the environmental also and global warming also. And he has explained about the game changes like our storage, electric vehicles, and H2 cars like that. And he has explained in detail about the grid to electric vehicles and electric vehicles to the grid also. It is a novel idea which is going to happen in future. And he has also touched upon the Tesla's infinity capacity battery storage thing also. I think he has covered almost all the areas of energy management and energy conservation. Well programmed, well planned, thought-provoking presentation. I have to profusely thank Engineer B. Samson Naladambi for having consented to deliver this lecture and made this very wonderful presentation. Of course, time is a constraint. We can go on hearing it, even if we have to cut short the questions also, because it is a wide A variety of questions will come after this particular PowerPoint. It is a very nice thing. I think we can, as I told already, I think we can go through some series of topics. So because he couldn't finish today, is it? Sansan couldn't finish today. So we can have a series of lectures on the same topic.
Tomorrow again I am speaking from 3 to 5.
For NLC.
Yes.
Those friends who are here from NLC, they can join. I think it is from LNTC. Okay, so I extend my sincere thanks to all the participants who have assembled here, and they have spared their valuable time to get themselves updated on this very useful topic. Hope it has all the people are taking home very valid points on energy conservation. For that, I want to again thank Samson Naladambi sir. And we are hoping to meet once again in this week itself with other useful topics like web security. We are planning to conduct a program on web security, as well as another topic, useful topic of lignite to coal gasification. Let us hope we will be meeting again soon. And I thank all the participants again. Good night to all. Now, formally, you can leave the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.